Good morning, Sir Hachika.
Okay, good morning, class. Okay, have a seat. Please arrange your chair. So, how was your day?
Good, sir. Okay ra. Kapoy, sir.
Kamusta yung
Na-stress kami,
weekend?
sir.
Stress sa inyo mga
Sa
modules?
lesson.
precisely sa modules.
Joanne, can you give a prayer? So, pray mga nubo ko.
Sige, let us pray.
Let us pray. Please stand up.
Pray, please stand up. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you this day. Today, pamahan, magdadagay kami ng sa lesson sa mga teacher na pamahan, magpasabot kaya sa ito na mga tayo at nabigay ng Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So, have a seat. So, say present if your name stated. Iranis,
Present.
Aname, Aname,
Gawa, sir.
Joanne,
Present.
Martinez,
Present.
Junmar, present sir. Mayan.
Present, sir.
For now, we will review our last discussion on Friday. So, we'll give an insight regarding our discussion on Friday. Mayan, please stand up.
Yes, sir. Last Friday we talked about what is an ecosystem. So, what I have recalled, an ecosystem consists of all organisms, including the environment which they interact with or where the organisms are in.
Thank you so much for your wonderful insight, Mayan. So, thank you. So, last Friday we tackled about an ecosystem. So, based on what Mayan shared, ecosystems, it involves the life that things that lives therein, about the organisms and all the life cycles that stated and give mahimong makatabang sa matagusa. No? For now, we will discuss a new topic this morning regarding sa mga makatabang sa tuwang kinabuhi, especially in times on medical fields. So, in last previous grades ninyo, we will tackle about the cells, which is composed of cells. We have the unicellular organisms and also the multicellular organisms. So in cells, they have different parts. They have two types of cells, the animals and plants. So sa inyong previous grades, nag-isgot may tungkol sa cells. So ang questions is how you will able to determine the parts of the cells using only your native eye. So di ba, medyo lisod siya. So what other tools to determine or to magnify, to make an object appear bigger? Now, what kind of tools that we use in order to magnify the objects to appear bigger? Any idea? Anime? Please stand up.
Microscope.
Oh yes, that's correct. So thank you for your answer. So as Anam said, I confused their name. So Alamin said, she answered microscope, and that's our topic this morning. It's all about microscope. So before we proceed with our discussion, I will group yourselves into two. You may able to group yourselves into two. You may
Okay na sir, ano lang sir?
yeah, okay. Maybe tulad-tulad. So maybe this group is group 2 and this group is group 1. So choose a leader, and then after you choose the leader will present your ideas, your works, no? So I will provide an activity for you to be able to be guided. Who is the leader of each group? Come forward, please.
May answer.
And then this group,
Liza,
Ah?
sir.
yes, okay,
Di ba
come,
ganon?
please. Yes, please. Anak siya, tulog-tulog. Anak siya dira.
Okay, I thought kami dali din sila.
Dati may akita.
Sige, please come forward. Martinez and Mayan. So,
Sexy nga na estudyante si sir. Okay, sir.
so here's your activity. All you have to do, we're here already the guidelines, the rubric, and also the example for you to be able to understand what you're going to do. And then, while you're doing your work, I will provide a question. Okay, please do your job in 3 minutes. And after that, you will answer the question that I am going to give you.
Para di pa.
The question, please. Okay. Okay, thank you. Can I get Group 1, are you done?
Dali lang, sir. Mali, sir.
So,
What's up, sir? Question, do you think their invention are greatly contribute in the medical field today?
yes.
Come on.
So, anybody will give their idea? Okay.
The question is, do you think their invention are greatly contributed in the medical field today? I think for me, sir, yes.
Why?
Yes, kay...
Yes, yeah, you can use the vernacular.
sige. The microscope was invented by CERNE. Usa siya na makatabang gihapon sa atuwa to kuan na to learn nalimot ko sa English.
To learn something.
To learn something nga kana makatabang sa not just makatabang sa atuwa, sa gasa, sa field, sa hospital or whatever place nga naata today, not just only but before sa unang gihapon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for your great insight, Miss Martinez. How about the others? Do you give your insight regarding to the question?
So with regards to the question, do you think their inventions are greatly contributed in the medical field today? My answer is yes, sir, because as to define what is microscope, it allows us to see small things in a particular thing, diba? So in the medical field, it allows the experts to say what's inside a thing for them them to distinguish what the thing is made up of.
Yes. Thank you for your excellent answer. So for now, no, thank you for your great ideas and impression regarding with the concept of microscope. So today we will tackle what is microscope under parts. So I will put a picture here for you to be able na masabtan. No? Hindi na matakot din isa.
Diha sir, ayan diha sir,
Hindi na. So, sorry kay medyo kamera picture. And then, focus niya sa inyo ha. So, as you can see in the picture, no? State there the parts of microscope. Kung anybody kanang kita na jud mismo sa kanang microscope.
Yes.
Kinsa? Yes, that's the also you can see in the picture kana jud mismo ang nas diha no microscope under parts. So today we will discuss about microscope. So I will give you no another good one. That's your guidelines. Sige. First, we have to tackle about what is microscope. A microscope comes from the ancient Greek, which means micros is small, and the scope means which means to look. It is a tool which can help you see tiny objects and living organisms. It makes them look bigger. No? The science of investigating small objects and structures using such an instrument is called microscopy. Don't forget that. No? Because after this discussion, we will have a short quiz. No? So what makes a microscope determine how clearly a small object can be viewed? So first, we have the magnification. I'm a distraction. So magnification describes how much larger of an object appears when viewed. The magnification is written on one side of the lens, but the value could be 4 times. So this is the, as you can see, natin ang magnification, no? Dili makita na siya yung mga labels kung pila ka, sana, magnification ng lens ang inyong gamiton. So na-value diha. So diha could be 4 times, 40 times, or 100 times. Now to calculate the total, no, total magnification of the compound light microscope and multiply the magnification power of the ocular lens by the power of the objective lens. So the examples are stated here. So inanang ginabuhat once the scientists or even the doctors, if they want to have an experiment, so inanang nila pamaagi unsahon nila paggamit ang microscope using a magnification ng magnifying lens. So this one, so 10 times 40, no? It could be, the total magnification is 400 times. 400 times magnification. Okay, did you get it? So, number 2, resolution or resolving power. Now, the capacity of a microscope to distinguish fine details of an image. And we have the optical microscope and electron microscope. So, in resolution or resolving power, we have an optical microscope. It is used visible light to form an image. It is used glass lenses to magnify and resolve images. The image that was formed can be viewed from an eyepiece. It has 2 types. So we have compound and stereo microscope. Compound microscope, it is called a double convex lenses, which is ang iyang capacity na to magnify is the compound microscope na siya'y magnifying lens na moabot og 1,200 times. And the stereo microscope maabot ra siya og 100 times. Okay, so number 2, we have also an electron microscope. An electron microscope use high energy electron beams to form an image. So yun na yun, kadako niyang use an high to form beams to form an image. So the image that was formed can only be viewed from an photographic plate or from computer screen. So the image magnified, no, taas kayo, can reach up to 2 million times. So ang electron microscope, no, electron, the word electron.
May gayong
Grabe na dyan ni kayo kada paano yung sana ability to magnify an object. So maabot na siya 2 million times. So inana, so bisag pa na kanang ang object niya, iya na siya ma-determine. And then in electron microscope, nasa 2 types. We have transmission electron microscope or EM. So electron beams passes through an ultra-thin sample. The image magnified and focused onto an imaging device such as fluorescent screen to be examined, no? To be examined in the base of the microscope. So, and we have also scanning electron microscope or SEM. So electron beam bounces off from the surface of the sample. Thus the image provided is a 3-dimensional. So as you can see on the photos, no, that I posted here, and I'll give you also the example. So yung na ang tsura sa microscope under parts and functions. So now we will discuss the parts and functions of microscope.
This is the part used to look through the microscope.
Yes, this one. No, this is the eyepiece for you to be able to look, no, the microscope. And then number 2,
Body tube or lens tube is connected with the eyepiece and its main task is to hold it.
so this one, no, para ma-determine niyo. Number 3, revolving nose piece, Martinez.
It holds the objective lenses. It is movable and it can remove the objective lenses depending on the magnification power of the lens.
Yes. So in revolving nose piece, so nasa yung ano ba, kanang kumbaga na-deploy na siya, nakadepende sa insagahan mo nga determine sa object, no? Nakadepende sa magnification sa power of the lens, no, to magnify or maximize, no, sa inyong tanahon nga usa ka object, no. Please read. Good more.
Arm. This is the part connecting the base into the head and the eyepiece tube to the base of the microscope. It gives support to the head of the microscope and it is also used when carrying the microscope.
Thank you. So ang arm mo ni siya. So kini siya ang to support and hold the head and the base of the microscope. So number 5, Mayan.
Number 5 is the objectives or the objective lenses. It is the major lenses used for specimen visualization. Most schools have light microscope with 3 objects and others have 4. Usually, the shortest one marked 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times is called the scanner. The lower power objective or the LPO is marked 10 times or 12 times, while the high power objective or the HPO is marked 40 times, 43 times, or 60 times. The objectives magnify the object to be observed to a certain size as indicated by the 3 times, 10 times, or 40 times, etc. marks.
That's all. So the objective lens, no, kini yung part sa microscope no to distinguish the objects depending sa ilahang i-magnify nga lenses. So naka-base na siya sa naitawag na LPO and the HPO. The LPO which means the lower, no, power object, and the HPO is the higher power object. Nakadepende siya nga napod siya yung label diha. So based sa inyong akong gihatag na copy. So number 6 no. Number 6 is the stage. This one. This is the stage. No, it's the platform that holds the specimen or sample for viewing. So if the scientist or doctor no, once she or he experimented no, dili ang ginabutang no kining specimen or the glass specimen. And then number 7 no, the stage clips. So yung stage clip from the word clips, yung clip or you hold no, the specimen slides in a place. So yun na. So those are the basic parts of microscopes. More than that, the illuminator, the condenser, we have the coarse focus and the fine focus. So but we can go further because we are running out of time. So for now, no, based sa inyo ang naibawan karon kabahin sa parts sa microscope, no, I will give you a recall, no? I-recall na ko kung nasabtan mo ninyo. So close your notes. Okay. I will mention the name and then kung kinsa ko ma-mention, i-identify unsa ning parts sa microscope. Sige. First, Martinez. No, it is connected with eyepiece and its main task is to hold it. So what do you call that part?
Sa to, sir?
It is connected with the eyepiece, no? And its main task is to hold it.
Kuan.
Anybody? Will help? Yes.
Arm.
Sorry. So the answer is body tube or lens tube. It is connected with the eyepiece and its main task is to hold it. Sige, again. So this is the part used to look through the microscope. No? It is the part used to look through the microscope.
I think it's the eyepiece.
Yes, that's the correct answer. Eyepiece. So kini yung for example, magamit ka, it is assumed. So winana siya, magtanong ka diya. So mo na siya ang eyepiece na diya. So ang body tube kato kung hold ka, nadra ang eyepiece. So nadra ang body tube niya connected with the eyepiece. Nagets ra? Connected with the eyepiece. Okay. So yun na. Sinasabta na. So for now, we will have a quiz. So get 1/4 sheet of paper. It's used to help you see tiny objects and living organisms. A. Googles. B. Microscope. C. Stethoscope. D. Telescope. Okay, again, what tool is used to help you see tiny objects and living organisms? A. Googles. B. Microscope. C. Stethoscope. D. Telescope. Number 2. Which two parts of the light microscope magnify the image of an object? A. Eyepiece and mirror. B. Eyepiece and objective. C. Objective and mirror. D. Objective and diaphragm. Okay, again. Which two parts of the light microscope magnify the image of an object? A. Eyepiece and mirror. B. Eyepiece and objective. C. Objective and mirror. D. Objective and diaphragm. Number 3. What makes a microscope determine how clearly a small object can be viewed? A. Mirror and eyepiece. B. Mirror and magnification. C. Magnification and resolution. D. Eyepiece and resolution. Again, what makes a microscope determine how clearly a small object can be viewed? A. Mirror and eyepiece. B. Mirror and magnification. C. Magnification and resolution. D. Eyepiece and resolution. Okay, the last is, what is the science of investigating small objects and structures? A. Autopsy. B. Colonoscopy. C. Endoscopy. D. Microscopy. What is the science of investigating small objects and structures? A. Autopsy. B. Colonoscopy. C. Endoscopy. D. Microscopy. Okay, pass your paper board and then can I exchange paper? Exchange paper from group 1 to group 2.
Okay lang, masaya sir.
No, it's okay. Okay. So number 1 is the microscope. Number 2, which the parts of light microscope magnify the image of an object, which is the eyepiece and objective. B. Number 3, what makes a microscope determine how clear a small object can be? C. Magnification or resolution. C. Magnification or resolution. Then 4, microscopy. What is the science of investigating small objects and structures? Okay, pass the paper forward. Thank you for your wonderful experience as we tackled the microscope. So for now, anybody who share their insight regarding with our discussion, insight ganahan ninyo mga share. Kapag sa itong discuss karong buntaga. Mayan, can you share with us? Unsay i-discuss na to? Unsay nahibawaan nimo kapag sa itong discuss karong buntaga? Unsay kasi mo muna, no?
Okay, so the learning I got with regards to our discussion for today, sir, is all about the microscope, the use of microscope as it allows us to see small things, small objects with a specific object, and also the magnification and resolution of a microscope that allows us to see kanang sa image sa small objects, and also the different parts of the microscope, including the eyepiece, the arm, and etc.
Okay, thank you so much, no, Mayan, Saad, for your great insight, no, of the application, no, as you learn something with our discussion. You know, I do believe, no, and I know na ang microscope importante jud siya, especially, no, the inventors and the scientists who perform their task, no, para makatabang gyapon sa tuwa, no, in this generation, especially that we are in a pandemic and a crisis that which na sa medical fields, the doctors, no, yung microscope, no, yung nagtabang sila, no, to distinguish para makagama og kanang new samples of kanang tambal para sa tuwa. So, yun lang napaka-importante ng microscope sa panahon, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic. So, yun na. So, today, no, as we end with our discussion, I hope you learned something with our discussion. Okay, thank you for your great insights, class. And now, with our next discussion, I will give you an assignment, light through the lens. So please take note. Number 1, describe how to use a microscope to observe specimen. And number 2, describe a proper handling of a microscope. Write it on a long bond paper. Okay? Anybody or suggestions, clarifications with our discussion before we end? Anything? Okay, since none, I will leave it as saying, only things worth seeing are beyond what you can actually see, by Joseph Brown. Okay, have a nice day, class, and hope to see you again. Goodbye.